So welcome everyone to our Sunday evening Sutra and Dharma discussion. And tonight we'll continue to walk our way towards the 10 great vows of the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. And tonight we'll look at the 7th vow. So before we do that, I'll invite you to please join your hands to your heart center and we can read this sutra opening verse together. Namo Fundamental Teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle and wondrous Dharma is difficult to encounter in hundreds of millions of kalpas. I now see and hear it. Receive and uphold it. May we understand the true meaning of the Tathagata. Namo Flower Adornment Assembly of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Namo Great Practices Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Okay, first of all, rejoice in all of your merit to be here tonight on a Sunday evening to come to listen to a Dharma talk. It's indeed maybe not the most fun thing to do for a lot of people, but so rejoice in your merit and to put this on your calendar and to attend. So thank you very much. And before we go into the discussion on the 7th vow, we'll just do a quick review on the previous 6 vows. And I'm sure that all of you are quite familiar now because we keep repeating them each week. It's actually important to keep repeating them. Although they may seem easy, but we really need this constant reminder, actually daily reminder if we can. Daily reminder, right? Maybe not moment to moment, best moment to moment if we can. Maybe most of us, we cannot. But at least once in a day or a few times in a day, really to remind us about all these vows and to see, to check whether our body, speech, and mind are acting in accordance with these vows. If not, how we can best adjust our own behaviors, our speech, and our mind towards these vows. So these vows really act as a life manual. I keep calling it the life manual, like an instructions on how to best conduct ourselves in everyday life. And if we can really follow these great vows, we will really change our life dramatically, and we can definitely reduce a lot of unnecessary afflictions in our life. So first of all, just to pay homage to all the Buddhas, and the Buddhas here include all the Buddhas in the 10 directions of the 3 periods of time, past, present, and future, which literally means all beings. So to respect all beings, to see the Buddha nature in all beings. So every day we can think whether today have I maybe been in contempt of somebody or looked down at somebody? Have I maybe disrespect some people that actually generate afflictions for ourselves? And the second is to praise the Tathagatas, also to praise the Buddha nature in all beings. If we really think there is nothing else, like maybe someone we really dislike, I really even hate in our life, I just remember even this person still has the Buddha nature. And if he is willing to kneel for and believe in Amitabha Buddha, and Amitabha Buddha will still save him to the Pure Land. So Amitabha Buddha is absolutely unconditional. His compassion is infinite, boundless. He will receive any person who is willing to believe in him and to kneel for with faith and vow. Even if he commits a lot of evil deeds in his life, if at the time of his death, he is willing to give rise to the heart of repentance and take refuge in Amitabha Buddha, he can still be saved by Amitabha Buddha. This is what is so supreme or unsurpassed about the Pure Land Dharma. No other Dharma gates can do this. All other Dharma gates actually require you to rely on your self-effort to realize enlightenment. in order for one to exit the cycle of reincarnation. But for the Pure Land Dharma Gate, where we really rely on Amitabha Buddha's great compassionate vows to go to the Pure Land. So third, to extensively cultivate making offerings. And every day we can also think, have I been maybe a bit selfish today, where I can actually maybe make offerings or be more generous to treat other people better. And fourth is to repent of karmic obstacles and reform. So this, we should really do it daily. I really try to filter our thoughts, our behaviors, our speech, and see, okay, karmic obstacles. When we see where we make mistakes, where we could have done better, we can repent of our karmic obstacles and try to do better next time. And maybe next time we'll fail again. Don't worry. Again, we repent sincerely. And most importantly, is that we actually have this sincere heart to want to be better, to want to purify our karma with our body, speech, and mind, to really want to be closer towards the mindset of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So as long as we have the sincerity, a sincere mind, that we actually, for all of us, for all the Buddhists, the end goal for all of us is to realize enlightenment, to realize the final Buddhahood, and to help all sentient beings. So if we keep this in mind, and if we really have the sincere heart that we want to progress on our path, we will also receive a great assistance by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They will also help us. It's actually important for us to repent about karmic obstacles. If we cannot see where we have done wrong, then really there is nothing to practice. And maybe you don't need a Dharma, and maybe you are already enlightened and perfect, but we're not, we're clearly not. Unless you are a Buddha, only at the level of the Buddha, full Buddhahood I'm talking about, you can say you are perfect in all your body, speech, and mind. Even for highly enlightened bodhisattvas, in every moment of their life, they still keep repenting. We saw what Bodhisattva Samantabhadra says, moment to moment, thought after thought without ceasing. I keep repenting. Even Bodhisattva Samantabhadra has karmic obstacle. Even this highly enlightened, highest level of enlightened bodhisattvas, they will still repent of their karmic obstacles in order for them to realize the full Buddhahood. So what says about us ordinary beings, full of karmic obstacles, really. And so we should try to do this also daily. At least I do this daily. I know I'm so not perfect in so many aspects. So it's important for us to also face our mistakes rightly, and then with the right attitude, and then to want to be better. And the fifth, to rejoice in merit. If we see other people are better than us, maybe more diligent than us, smarter than us, can we be happy for them? Can we not be jealous and then maybe say mean things, but rather we rejoice in the merit of others? And the sixth, to please turn the Dharma wheel. So to invite the Buddha or to invite anyone who has the ability, even including ourselves. It doesn't matter, maybe we don't know much, but can we at least maybe have the willingness to just share a little bit of what we know? So to turn the Dharma wheel, why is it important? If we don't turn the Dharma wheel, or if no one in the world turns the Dharma wheel, then no one will know about the Dharma. If no one knows about the Dharma, then no one will even have any opportunity, any chance to exit the cycle of samsara. I think this is quite a horrific thought, right? Not to have the Dharma exist in the world is quite horrible. I cannot imagine. But actually, there will be in the future, a long time, there's no Dharma in the world, actually also in the past. So the existence of the Dharma in the world is very rare, very precious. And if there is the Dharma in the world, and if we know of people who have the ability to turn the Dharma wheel, we must invite them to turn the Dharma wheel, humbly invite them to turn the Dharma wheel. If somehow we know maybe a kind of meditation such as Nyingpo that the Buddha taught, we should also share this as much as possible to as many people as we know. So all these 10 great vows, like we talked about before, it's really an upgrade of the 6 parameters. And why are we doing all this? And the purpose is also to try to help us really expand our mind, expand our heart, to try to see the Buddha nature in all beings. If in our everyday life, we can see the Buddha nature in all beings, it can really reduce a lot of unnecessary afflictions. If we see the Buddha nature of maybe the person, maybe before you learn these vows, you have someone you really don't like, really bothers you. After you learn this vow, maybe you can expand your mind and see this person also has the Buddha nature. In fact, we are also the same. In essence, we are the same. So if we can think of it that way, it can really help us maybe untie a lot of knots in our heart, a lot of grudge, a lot of unnecessary maybe arguments with people. If we can respect all sentient beings like we respect the Buddha, maybe it's difficult to do. Maybe we don't need to actually bow at them, but it's on our heart if we can try to do that. And this will also give rise to compassion, and with compassion, of course, you will generate bodhicitta naturally. So this is the path of the Bodhisattva. Through doing all this, we are actually benefit the most. Those people, Bodhisattvas who practice these vows, although they vow to save all sentient beings, of course, not all sentient beings have been saved. But before all sentient beings have been saved, they have already long ago realized Buddhahood. So really through doing all this, we actually benefit the most. It really helps us to be more awakened. So every day, this great vows can be a very practical guideline for us to just filter our thoughts, filter our speech, where maybe my thoughts are actually maybe not so much in accordance with this mind, where we can actually adjust them better. This really gives us the direction. Bodhisattva Samantabhadra gives us the best direction of how we should act with our body, speech, and mind, so we can obtain peace of mind in ourselves, and also to have this harmony with the environment, with the people around us. So of course, it's not easy, much easier said than done. That's why Buddha Dharma is not mere theory. Do not be a scholar in Buddhism. There are actually also a lot of scholars in this world on Buddhist sutras or the Buddha Dharma. So also rejoice in their merit for their work. But I don't want any of you to just be a scholar. Maybe you are already a scholar, but don't just stop at studying the words. I really try to practice them in our life. If you only study the words, like if you only study the sutras, so I know there are people also very much into the sutra, maybe they can recite the sutras, they can write a lot of articles, even commentaries on the sutra. But if you don't actually bring this practice into your life, you don't actually embody at least maybe some certain percentage of the practice into your life, then it will not work. Then after that, you may complain why this meditation doesn't work, why this mantra, why this sutra, why this dharanis don't work. It's because you don't know how to direct your mind. You don't know how to actually practice them. So yes, it's important now we first study the instruction, the sutras, like the instructions. But most importantly is that we need to use them. It's like a mobile phone. If you get a new phone or new toy, whatever, you maybe first read the instructions on how to actually, start up this phone, etc. What are the functions, etc. But if you only study the instructions and you don't bother even to actually use your phone, then you cannot complain your mobile doesn't work. But it's a bit like that. But we must try to use these tools, apply them in our everyday life in order for the Buddha Dharma to be effective, in order for us to benefit from the teachings of the Buddhas. We need to practice them in our everyday life. So that's why it's called practices and vows. Practices comes before vows. And also as the Nianfo practice as well, although we talk about faith and vow, are actually the most important, right? Faith. Our faith and vow determines whether we can seek rebirth or not. But how do we actually know we really have this sincere faith? We really really do believe in Amitabha Buddha. We really do want to go to the Pure Land. It's actually also reflected in our practice. If you believe so much, of course, naturally you will nianfo. Naturally, you also maybe want to share this with other people. If you know there's this the best world out there, you want the people you love to also go there. So faith, vow, and practice are all connected. They're really three in one. We talk about them maybe separately for ease of understanding, but they're really just one thing. And even these 10 great vows, they're also one vows, but we sort of separate them for the ease of understanding. After you study all these 10 vows, you see how they're all closely connected. So if you respect all beings, you see the Buddha nature in all beings. The first vow, of course, you will praise them. Of course, you want to make offerings for them. And if you make mistakes, right, of course, you want to repent your karmic obstacles, etc. So all this are connected. Each vows, they're all connected. So last time we talked about the 6th vow, please turn the Dharma wheel. And today we're going to talk about the 7th vow, which is really a continuation from the 6th vow. To humbly invite the Buddhas to live in the world. So in Chinese, this is called 请佛注释. Right, 请 means please, right, to please invite, or you see some translation to please request the Buddhas to live in the world. And we also add this word humbly here because it really also shows our respect and our attitude, and it accords with the original meaning better. It's actually not an easy thing to translate sutras from one language to another because the Chinese grammar is so different from the English grammar. I'm also working on the translation on this sutra with also other members from the Lotus family. So also really grateful for their help. And after all these 10 great vows, the talk, I'll also put up the whole translation on the practices and vows of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra in our Google Drive, and also maybe in our weekly newsletter, like a blog post there. So for people who are interested, you want to read the whole sutras, you can go and read there. And now if you Google, you will also see translation of the practices and vows of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. But I want to do, I feel maybe could be an even better one on this translation, hopefully. I don't know if I can, but like I want to try my best. Okay. So 7th vow, to humbly invite the Buddhas to stay in this world. It's actually quite a short vow. So from the sutra, moreover, good men, to humbly invite the Buddhas to live in the world is explained like this. Throughout the entire Dharma realm and the realm of empty space, all Buddhas Tathagatas who are about to enter parinirvana, and all bodhisattvas, sound hearers, shravakas, Pachaka Buddhas, learners and non-learners, and all the good teachers, I persuade all of them to not to enter nirvana, to live in the world for as many kalpas as 5 modes of dust in all Buddha lands, for bring benefit and bliss to all living beings. We'll continue with the sutra, the concluding paragraph. Such as the realm of empty space is exhausted, the realms of living beings are exhausted, the karma of living beings is exhausted, and the afflictions of living beings are exhausted. Still, my persuasion is endless. It continues in thought after thought without ceasing. The karma of my body, speech, and mind never wearies of these deeds. So it's quite a short vow. It also contains a lot of important information. So Bodhisattva Samantabhadra is telling Charles Sudana, Bodhisattva Sudana. Also, Sudana really in the Avatar Sankhya Sutra really represent as the ambassador for all the students, including us. Sudana, representative of all the students. So Bodhisattva Samantabhadra is telling Sudana that he will always invite all the Buddhas, Tathagatas, who are about to enter parinirvana. So parinirvana means nirvana without this physical body. So it's not death. Right? Sometimes people think, oh, the Buddha also died. Buddha did not die like an ordinary being. Right? It's important to know this for all Buddhists, like common knowledge. But yes, some books or some maybe, or Wikipedia or whatever, Google sources, it may seem that, oh, the Buddha just died like an ordinary being, but it's actually different. That's why we call it to enter parinirvana. Right? When a fully enlightened being died, it's only like he just discarded the physical body. But what's the difference between the death of the Buddha and the death of an ordinary being is that when an ordinary being died, if he doesn't nianfo, he doesn't practice the Dharma, like just an ordinary being who knows nothing about the Dharma. If he dies, what happens to him is that he will follow his karmic force, his own karma will drag him towards the realm, whatever karma that he resonates with. We know 6 realms of reincarnation, like heaven, human, asura, hungry ghost, animal, and hell. So he will go into any of this realm depending on his karma, and this karmic force that will drag him into this realm. He has absolutely no control. Although he actually made this happen himself, but he would not think so. He has absolutely no control. This really strong karmic force will just carry this person to where he will go. He may be not aware and doesn't know. Like us, we don't know why. Again, we are again back here in a human realm and take on this physical body, right? But for enlightened beings, even for arhats, for bodhisattvas, and for Buddhas, they clearly know where they go. And for the Buddhas, they are everywhere actually, because they realize the full Buddhahood. So the Dharma body is absolutely everywhere. Shakyamuni Buddha actually has never left us. I need to repeat this many times. First of all, his Dharma body is everywhere. So now if we have a thought, does Shakyamuni Buddha knows? Yes, Buddha clearly knows and sees our every thought. But will they be bothered with our rubbish thoughts? No, no need. But only if we really have like a sincere maybe request or sincere desire that they actually see, or maybe this person now is mature for the Dharma, then they will also adopt skillful means for you to encounter the Dharma, to study the Dharma. So why we're all here tonight is also not a coincidence. It's because all along the way, there have been Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that keep guiding us along, not a coincidence. So even if Shakyamuni Buddha has entered parinirvana in this world, again, this is a performance by Shakyamuni Buddha just to show us impermanence, to remind us this physical body is impermanent, therefore we should not be attached. Although the Buddha has the ability actually not to enter parinirvana, he could stay in the world for much longer if he wants. He entered parinirvana at the age of 80. He could actually live much, much, much longer. How long? I'm just telling you, even for an arhat, arhat can live in the world with the physical body for 1 great kappa. Okay, that's the ability of an arhat. And even in this world, in our current world, there are still arhats, 4 arhats that are still living in this world, who were the senior disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha. These are clearly recorded in the sutras. Before Shakyamuni Buddha entered into parinirvana, he also told all these 4 disciples, including the Buddha's son, to stay in the world, not to enter parinirvana. So they are actually still here with us. They have the ability to live in the world with the physical body for 1 great kappa. And we may be like, oh, where are they? We don't know where they are. They don't need to let us know. Actually, there had been like a British scholar that had met one of them, I think in India or somewhere. right? These arhats, they also have their own pure land, right, on earth, in a different dimension, you can say. And then they can enter freely, right, into our world and also into their pure land. So there are still arhats that living in this world and also in China. But why Shakyamuni Buddha did not actually choose to remain in the world for so long? Imagine if the Buddha is always here, like even now, maybe Shakyamuni Buddha has been here for also 2,000 years, then people would not want to study the Dharma actually. Right? It's like if your teacher is always in front of you, talking, you will get sick of your teacher very soon. So that's why the Buddha cannot act like that. His lifespan here has to be like an ordinary being, right? 80, 100. Actually, initially, he was planning to stay to the age of 100. Right? That was his original plan, to only enter parinirvana at the age of 100. But why he didn't do that? At the age of 80, he observed that, okay, maybe his karma with the sentient beings here in this on earth is about to he has already done his work, right, for the beings here. And for those who have not sort of saved, the seed has been planted and his disciples will save. And also because his disciple, senior disciple Ananda committed a mistake to not to invite the Buddha to stay in the world, right? To not to invite the Buddha to keep turning the Dharma wheel. So before the Buddha decided that he will enter into parinirvana, he actually hinted to Ananda. This was recorded in the Sutra. What he said to Ananda was, you know, Ananda, the great arhat, they have the ability to remain in this world with the physical body for one great kappa. And he said this 3 times. And this is really hinting to Ananda. So if you like, I'm a Buddha. Of course, Buddha can stay for as much longer, as long as they want. Even the great arhat can stay for one great kappa. What says about the ability of the Buddha? Inconceivable. But Ananda, upon hearing this, he didn't get it. Right? Ananda usually is very smart, very intelligent, but for some reason that day he did not get it. And he thought, oh, okay, I'm so sleepy. Let me, go to my room. So he did not really understand what the Buddha was trying to say. The Buddha actually trying to see whether Ananda like to invite him to stay longer in this world. But Ananda did not say that. So the Buddha think, okay, the karma with the sentient beings here is just like this, for this period. So I'd better just enter into parinirvana. And also because Lord Mara, I remember Lord Mara, before the night Shakyamuni Buddha realized enlightenment, Lord Mara came to sort of disturb the Buddha, really like test the Buddha. Right? And then the Buddha defeated Lord Mara. By defeating doesn't mean that he disappeared or he got killed or something. No, Lord Mara also has an extremely long lifespan. So Lord Mara, upon knowing that Shakyamuni Buddha realized enlightenment and also see how he has saved so many people to help them exit the cycle of samsara, he immediately come to invite the Buddha to please enter parinirvana. The Buddha is, of course, very compassionate. The Buddha sees also the Buddha nature in such a person like Lord Mara. And you may think, why the Lord Mara want the Buddha to enter parinirvana? So the Lord Mara is like the king of the desire realm. And what he wants, how he obtains bliss and pleasure is by seeing other people drowning in desire and attachment. And that's why our world is so full of desire and attachment. Lord Mara definitely contribute greatly for that. And also his children, grandchildren like that. So that's why he does not want to see any person. He definitely does not want to see the Buddha to live in this world, to tell people to exit the cycle of samsara. If they exit the cycle of samsara, then they are out of his control, and then out of the desire realm, which is outside of the control of the Lord Mara, and he's losing his power. So he does not want that. Although you can say, heavenly beings, shouldn't they be all really nice and kind? He is nice and kind, but the only thing he doesn't like, he doesn't want to see, it's for anyone to exit the cycle of samsara. What he wants to see is for people to be attached to more desire and more attachment, and more entertainment, That's why our world is so full of entertainment, so full of all kinds of desire, attachment, etc. So the Buddha is very compassionate, and he also treats all beings equally. And he will also agree with Lord Mara's request. And he told Lord Mara, don't worry, the beings I will save during this time, we all had common connection. Once it's done, I will definitely enter parinirvana. I will fulfill your wish. So because Ananda did not invite the Buddha to stay in this world for longer, then the Buddha think, okay, maybe it's his time to enter parinirvana. So he decided that he will enter parinirvana in 3 months. If we watch also the movie, The Buddha, and also you can read the biography of Shakyamuni Buddha. So obviously we missed the time of Shakyamuni Buddha, and we cannot actually invite any Buddha to not to enter parinirvana. But if we see a bodhisattva, invite a bodhisattva to not to enter parinirvana. If we cannot see a bodhisattva, if we meet the sound hearers are also known as shavakas, and those who hear the Buddha's teaching, like the Four Noble Truths, like the arhats, should realize enlightenment. If you happen to meet an arhat, I invite them not to enter parinirvana. But maybe we also don't know, even if we really meet an arhat, we don't know actually their level of enlightenment. And practical Buddhas are also enlightened beings who, without actually the teachings of the Buddhas, they themselves can independently realize enlightenment through observing the 12 dependent links of origination, also due to the past life's good roots, the past life's cultivation. So learners and non-learners, so non-learners refers to arhats, those who realize enlightenment and be able to exit the cycle of reincarnation. So for those before that are also called learners, like string enterer, once returner, non-returner, all these are learners. We are also learners, learners on the path who know about the Buddha Dharma and still practice and try to exit the cycle of samsara. So if we can't meet any of those, just all the good teachers, all the people that you think maybe they know much better than you, they have the ability to turn the Dharma wheel, then you should invite them to live in the world. I remember the 6th vow to invite all the Buddhas and also all the good teachers to turn the Dharma wheel. How can they actually turn the Dharma wheel? Is to really to live in this world, to stay in this world, to not to go to the Pure Land too soon. So I keep telling Master Renshan, really, after I study all these vows, I keep telling my teacher to not to go to the Pure Land too soon, right? Maybe Master Renshan can go to the Pure Land at the age of, 70 or 80, but I would really also try to humbly invite him to not enter Nirvana. Really going to the Pure Land is like enter parinirvana, because you will realize full Buddhahood there. So to not go to the Pure Land too soon, more beings here need to actually know about Amitabha Buddha to really live in the world for longer. So more people can hear the name of Amitabha Buddha and can be benefited by the Dharma. So if we meet any of those people in our life that we think they have good knowledge, they can actually share the Dharma, we should try to humbly invite them to live in the world for as long as possible. For what reason? Here it says, for bringing benefit and bliss to all living beings. All the beings, really, all beings absolutely need the Buddha Dharma, particularly during this time. We see this news in China very recently, just a few days ago, a plane crash, 135 or something, people died instantly. So can we see really impermanence can happen to any of us at any moment, and maybe least expected it. We really don't know in what kind of way impermanence can just happen on us. This world now is so full of chaos. It has always been, but particularly really this time, with COVID, with the virus, with the war going on, with disasters everywhere, really Dharma ending age, you will see more disasters, also because people's desire just keep expanding, which really destroy the balance of the earth. So that's why we see so many disasters, accidents happened all around the world. Particularly this time, people really need to hear the Pure Land Dharma, hear the name of Amitabha Buddha, in order for them to exit the cycle of reincarnation. And for those people, if they know about Amitabha Buddha, then if they encounter disaster, accident, they would know what to do. Like, who can really save them at critical moments like that? Like, only Amitabha Buddha, like only Guan Yin. There's no one else. Like, your parents cannot save you. It doesn't matter whether you're the richest, most powerful person on earth. You are just as helpless as anybody when we are facing impermanence. So we really need more people to talk about the Dharma. One person's power is limited. And that's why Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, of course, he can turn the Dharma wheel. Of course, he can live in the world for a long, long time. But he will still invite the Buddha, of course, who are more enlightened than him, to turn the Dharma wheel, to not to enter parinirvana. And not only he will only invite the Buddhas, he will also invite all bodhisattvas, all shavakas, all practical Buddhas, all learners and non-learners, and all the good teachers to come to all turn the Dharma wheel, to all live in the world for as long as possible. So this is like, why do we need so many people to turn the Dharma wheel? Of course, goes without saying, right? The more people, the more opportunity for more people to hear the Dharma, and more beings will be benefited. Because remember, each of us actually have different karmic connection with different people. Like maybe your mother, she will not listen to what I say, like she doesn't know about me. But if you tell your mother about Amitofo, Amitabha Buddha, then she may believe, because maybe you are her favorite son. So it's like that, because we have different karmic connection with different people. Some people, even a Buddha, like there are people, when Shakyamuni Buddha was in the world, there are people that would dislike the Buddha. People did not want to hear what Shakyamuni Buddha said. But when Shakyamuni Buddha sent his disciple to this person, that person instantly would believe, because that person has good karma with the disciple. So it's like that. That's why we need really all the people who has the capacity and who has the knowledge to turn the Dharma wheel, even including ourselves. Although we don't have much knowledge, if we know a little bit, then we share a little bit. And also we try to live in the world. Maybe some people are like, I don't want to live in the world for as long as possible. I just want to go to the Pure Land. That's fine, if that's your aspiration. But if you see those people who generate maybe great bodhicitta and they really have good knowledge, they can really turn the Dharma wheel, then we should invite those people to try to stay in the world for as long as possible. And Master Ching Kong, why he's still here, he's already, I don't know, maybe 95, 96 or something. From what he has shared, he could already go to the Pure Land at the age of 80 when he saw Amitabha Buddha. I think it was from one of his videos I heard, Amitabha Buddha actually came to receive him. He was very sick in a hotel in Beijing. I can't remember all these exact details, but just from one of his talks, he talked about this incident. He thought, he knew at that time he could already go with the Buddha. He saw Amitabha Buddha to come, and also he saw Shakyamuni Buddha, he saw Guan Yin. And the reason why he did not go at that time was because he also said, if the Buddha want me to stay in this world for longer to turn the Dharma wheel, then I will also do that. So after he said that, then the Buddha disappeared. So of course, the Buddha would like him to stay longer to turn the Dharma wheel. And many people also invite him to stay longer, to live longer in this world. So he said he will only go to the Pure Land at the age of 100. So this is really a great compassion, for bodhisattvas like that to remain in this world for as much longer as they can, to really take up also the suffering of all sentient beings and to turn the Dharma wheel for the benefit of all sentient beings. If no one talks about the Dharma, also there's a saying in Buddhism, not saying in Buddhism, it's actually also from the Sutra. What's about the Dharma is that it's so subtle. Even for those people with a good level of intelligence, Maybe like in the conventional world, you are a doctor, you are a PhD in something, right? If no one actually explains this Dharma, it's also still difficult to understand. It's because it's very subtle, also unsurpassed. It's indeed unsurpassed and subtle and profound. So we must have people to actually turn the Dharma wheel, to talk about the Dharma, to talk about the sutras, because now the Buddha is not here. What we are left with are the sutras, which are the Buddha's words. It's actually really, really important. This is the most important thing. The most important Buddhist matters. It would really be to expound the Dharma in accordance with the sutras. We cannot just expound the Dharma in accordance to our own way of thinking, right? It doesn't work. You actually need to look at what the sutra says, because the sutras are the direct words from the Buddha or from the Bodhisattvas, right? From the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, which are enlightened beings. We are enlightened beings. We cannot just freely apply our own way of thinking. You can only do that maybe after you study the sutra really well. It has already sinking so much in you, and you can express it in your own words, but do not derive away from the meanings of the sutras. It's actually really, really important for anyone who wants to explore the Dharma, to explore the sutras. You really need to study them really well. And I'm actually in the progress of training to do that. And all this, I'm doing this is also like my own little practice. So I'm also reciting all the 5 Pure Land Sutras. So currently I'm reciting the practices and vows of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. So this is like basic training for anyone who would like to explore the sutras. You need to actually know by heart every detail of the sutras, so you will not get wrong. You will not actually make any mistakes. When you talk about the sutra, you talk about the Dharma. So if for anyone who has the aspiration to want to maybe explore the Pure Land Dharma, the Pure Land Sutras in the future, remember you actually recite them. It's actually not too long to recite. It's actually long, but it's not too long that it's actually not manageable, right? So this is actually long, like A4 pages, like 21 pages. So I think I can fully recite it next week. It's really, I've been doing this for 3 months. By reciting the sutra, it really helps deepen my level of understanding. And because now I start to see all the details that I may have omitted in the past. So maybe for someone who, if you like to explore the Infinite Life Sutra, the longer Sukhavati Yoga Sutra, maybe you go and first recite it in your language. Someone say, if you're maybe studying in Sanskrit, try to memorize by heart. If you can do that, a lot of the questions you have, it will be solved in this process through memorizing all the details of the sutras. It will bring another level of understanding. And as my study keeps deepening, of course, each time really when I read the sutras, it's also, to me, the words may seem the same, but it's really another, also different level of understanding. And for those who study the sutras, who are undergoing this kind of training, they will know what I'm talking about. Master Ching Kong, Master Renshan also talk about this. So for Master Renshan, when he studied with Master Ching Kong also at the same training, I first of all recite all the 5 Pure Land Sutras by heart. When you can know all the 5 Pure Land Sutras by heart, you will not get wrong. And you can answer any questions that people ask about the Pure Land Dharma. And you don't need to go and check anywhere because you have all the knowledge you need in your mind. So it's actually important. And also, sometimes if we see different interpretations on the Pure Land Dharma, if you actually study all the 5 Pure Land Sutras in details, comprehensively, then you will know exactly which interpretation can be a bit off actually from the Buddha's intention. It's really obvious. Once we have studied all the sutras, you can quickly distinguish, okay, maybe which ones are actually the genuine Pure Land teachers, which ones maybe they actually don't know much. I'm not trying to judge people, right? But I'm just saying, because in the Dharma ending age, right, all kinds of people, they may talk about all kinds of Dharma. How do we actually know which ones to follow? Which one are actually the genuine teachings by the Buddha, even including the interpretation from certain patriarchs' teachings, whether we are actually interpreting them correctly. If it's the writings from the patriarch, they also need to be in accord with the Buddha's teachings, right? Because after all, this is all the Buddha's teaching. All their writings are actually based on the sutras. So the fundamental source for all of us, when we study the Dharma, we have to go back to the sutra. If we see maybe two teachers, they're talking about two different interpretations on a patriarch's same commentary, and how do we know which one is right? We also look back at the sutras and see what the Buddha actually said, and you will have a very good judgment, and you will be able to know, you will be able to see the full picture, and you will not fall into any kind of a extreme or wrong interpretation. Okay, so it's important that we study the sutras in great details. It's important that people actually export the sutras like this. So I'm very, very grateful for my teacher, Master Renshan, for Master Chinkong, for all these great bodhisattvas who really work so hard, really dedicate themselves fully in exporting the sutras, so people can understand much better. Okay, so we come to the concluding paragraph. Such as the realm of empty space, it's exhausted. The realms of living beings are exhausted, the karma of living beings is exhausted, and the afflictions of living beings are exhausted. Still, my persuasion is endless. It continues in thought after thought without ceasing. The karma of my body, speech, and mind never wearies of these deeds. Okay, missing one word here. So again, the same concluding paragraph, to make it a constant habit in our life. If we see there are good teachers here, I cannot see the Buddha, I cannot maybe see a proper bodhisattva, I cannot see an arhat, but if we see anyone that we think actually have good knowledge about the Dharma, we should also try to invite them to live in this world for longer, so more beings can be benefited. And if ourselves, we have also the ability, the aspiration to want to share the Dharma, we can also stay in this world longer to let more people know about the Dharma. Okay, but if Amitabha Buddha comes at the right time, then we go. Also not to be attached. But if you are not attached to sharing the Dharma, but you just want to genuinely benefit all sentient beings, but doing this also without attachment. Also, how many people that we have karmic connection with that will actually listen to us. All this is also in a way sort of determined from our previous life's karma as well. I know no matter maybe how much I try to talk about the Dharma in this world, I'm saying for maybe a certain period of time, there are also just maybe only certain percentage of people that will listen to me. Also due to the past life's karma that I have created with these people, and including all of you. So rejoice in all of your merit, and thank you very much. Okay, maybe we'll just do the merit transfer, and then I'll also look at the comments. So thank you. So we can bring our hands to our heart center. May the resulting merit and virtue be distributed everywhere without discrimination. May we all generate the unsurpassed bodhicitta and be born in the land of peace and bliss. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amituofo. Okay, just quickly checking. So Luke, after taking refuge with Master Renshan, I've been using the 10 recitation method of Nianfo. How many times a day should I do Nianfo this way? Really, as many as you like, as many as you can, as many as possible, I would say. But yeah, as many as you can with your current ability. Yeah. Yeah, so exactly. Sutras are like road signs, and we need to actually don't just be attached to the road sign. We actually need to go there. Yes. Okay, thank you very much, Amitabha.